Hey, this is Dr. Sean over at Natural BodyWorks, and we're going to be talking a little bit about digestive stuff. So remember, we're always talking about the kind of the three parts of health: the physical part, the mental part, and the chemical part. Well, this is kind of chemical, but it bleeds over into all the rest. We're going to talk about probiotics and your biome, which is all of the critters that live inside and on you. Now, think of yourself as kind of a planet. That's kind of weird, but whatever. Think of yourself as a planet because you have all of these creatures on you. Some that are on the dry areas, like in through here, or the moister areas, or the more moist areas, or inside here. These are all different kind of climates that these creatures can live on, and they have to have a good balance. Now, if you go to the stomach, the belly, the gut, that's going to be your rainforest. So we all know how important the rainforest is for health of the planet. So it's good for the health of you. So a lot of people that have problems with their internal biome, if they've taken antibiotics or they've had other chemical issues or some kind of illness or they've been very sick and they had to fight something off, lots can change. If it's off balance a little bit, your body will try to react by having hyper-inflammatory issues, which means like lots of sinus problems, eye watering, gut disturbances, those kind of things. That's your body trying to balance it out. So here's one way we can kind of balance it is by giving it all the things it needs and trying to repopulate the area. But we're not going to go and take a bunch of 100 billion units of probiotic from a refrigerator. That's terrible. We're going to make it. We're going to make it with cabbage. This here's a cabbage, regular old cabbage. Here's some salt, regular old salt. Well, this is Himalayan salt, but whatever. We're going to need some mason jars. These here have been cleaned, nice and open, ready to go. And we're also going to use some caraway seeds. And guess what? We're going to make sauerkraut. Not the kind you buy in the store, because the kind you buy in the store is been cooked or pasteurized. If it's been cooked or pasteurized, anything that's done that way has no more live culture bacteria in it. This naturally already has lactobacillus and some other bacilli in there which are friendly to us. We like them. This is one of the reasons you like the smell of the earth. Like dirt, good soil. Everybody likes that smell. You don't like that smell? You should like that smell. It's a very good smell. So we're going to make a cabbage into a sauerkraut. So stick around. I'm going to show you the process. We'll go from there. Thanks. Okay, so here we are again. This is Dr. Sean. We've got our materials. You're going to need a big bowl, a knife, cutting board. I have a mortar and pestle here I'm going to use for the salt, and some caraway seeds. Maybe I just buy them regular. Go ahead and open those. And cabbage. So the idea for this whole thing, remember, is we've got to make sure that everything is pretty. So I went off and I shredded up the cabbage. I'm telling you, make sure you get a good knife, because this one sucks. I might as well have used a spoon. So having a good knife is a good thing. There you go. This is actually about half of it. I have the other half in another container because it was like overflowing, so get a big enough container for that big cabbage. Here's those extra leaves that I saved. I'll tell you what those are for later. Here's my salt all ground up. There we go, some nice that. And here's those caraway seeds, which we're going to add in a minute. So since it's about half of it, we're going to add about half the salt. Right about like that. And we're just going to start mixing it up with our hands. Now, the reason I didn't show you cutting of the cabbage is because who wants to watch me cut a cabbage for 5 minutes with a dull knife? So anyway, you just mix this up with your hand, kind of squish it around a little bit just like this, and you'll notice it starts getting more and more wet. We're starting to pull the fluid out of the cabbage. Now, the salt's not just for flavor. The salt is to make this basically a saline solution. Yes, your blood, your plasma, and your lymph are all basically saline, which means salt water. So you're basically a giant bag of salt water, a little bag of ocean walking around on the land. You see some of those big bits that I missed in there. That's okay. So you smash these up until they're nice. They're starting to get juicy. This doesn't take very long. Grab. We're going to do the same thing, not with the apples. The apples we're going to add in. I sliced up the apple already, and that has some stuff in it. Here's the apples. I just put them in a jar. It was easy so they don't brown up. And that's just plain old water, filtered water. And there we go. So we're starting to get it to mash up real nice. And we're going to swap it over into another container. And then I'll do the other half. So I'll do that, and I'm going to come back and have it all mashed up for you here in just a couple minutes. So hang on, we'll be done in a minute. Okay, so here we are back. I've been smashing this stuff and getting it all set in there. And so we talked about the fermentation a wee bit. What does fermentation mean? Fermentation means you're going to have bacteria, which are going to use the sugars that are inside the cellulose of the cabbage, and they're going to break it down, and basically they're going to make a little bit of alcohol, but they're going to ferment this down and preserve it. It's going to be preserved. It won't rot, not anytime soon, because we're going to refrigerate it after a week or so. And here we go. We're getting good, nice and mashed up. I chop it up small. You can chop it up in bigger pieces if you like. It doesn't really matter. If you're going to make something like kimchi, probably bigger chunks and different kinds of cabbage, you'd use a Napa cabbage. This is your typical, I don't know what the kind of cabbage is. Just a typical head of cabbage you buy at the store. So here we go. Nice, and it's starting to be kind of juicy. Looking actually pretty good. And we're going to add in the caraway seeds. Here, this stuff sticks on everything, so I've got cabbage on everything in here. And I'm using a tablespoon of caraway seeds. These are to give a different flavor. This is your traditional flavor, by the way. I've made it without it. I like it without it, just the same. But I'm trying it now with the caraway seeds to see what they look like. They look like little bugs, but whatever. So mix those in there pretty good, like this. Folding it over. I'm trying to keep that whole thing in one. Notice it's reduced down a little bit. That's because we've smashed it. You know, it's mashed together with our hands here. I don't have to squeeze too hard, but I'm just going to fold it over. And here's our kind of semi-finished product. So remember we were talking about those leaves, which are right here. I'm going to show you what we're going to do with those right now. So we take those, get our trusty old cutting board. We're going to go like this. Basically, take this as a template. And we're going to cut around and make a little cap. Because we're going to use this cap later, the metal one, this one here, we're going to use to cover the cabbage. There we go. We'll just do, I have 3 jars here, so I'll make 3 of them. Probably could end up with more. I don't know. And this stuff here too, we can add this in to the mix in a little bit. Or you can just eat it. It's actually quite good. And here we go, a little bit more here, like this. And we did clean the cabbage, of course, but you don't want to use soap or anything like that. And don't worry, because yes, it is bacteria, and bacteria are not bad. What's bad for you is not having the right bacteria working with you. That's bad. These good bacteria, bad bacteria over there somewhere. Good bacteria here. Here's our first jar. I'm going to put a piece of apple in there first, set it at the bottom. And I'm going to do, I think, 2 slices per. Just going to try it out. I've never done the apples in there. We'll see what happens with it. So you stuff it in here like this. A little bit more of this juice in there. Put a little juice in there. We're going to let them set. They're going to just set out like this. And it's going to become fermenty. You're going to have to add water every day or so. Get that set. I'll go find my rocks. And then I'll show you kind of like the next step. And we'll go from there. Okay, so here we are. I've found my rocks. These have been washed. I just place them on top like this. There you go, making healthy stuff for us. Because the better your body works, the better you think. The more clear you will think, the less depression you will have. There is a link between your gut bugs, basically, let's call them, your gut critters, whatever you want to say, your little habitation that you have going on here, since you are a planet of yourself, and you will pull that up. So anyway, and I'll be able to film it, so if it didn't work and I die, you know what not to do. That's not going to happen. I've done this a lot of times. So worst thing case scenario is, well, I usually eat it before it ferments, so but I gotta wait for this to ferment because I really want to get this done. I have the caraway seeds, which I've never done before. Anyway, this is Dr. Sean over at Natural BodyWorks here in Parker, Colorado. Hope you guys are well. More videos coming. I know it takes me a long time to get them. I get my motivation up and get them going. If you have any questions or anything, comment below. Ask me questions. I answer every single one of them. And that's it. So take care. Bye. Give us a call.